Hey guys, how's it going? So it's been a long time since I've vlogged, and I'm actually doing a sit-down vlog today because I thought it would be fun to do the 25 things you might not know about me tag, and I have them all written down on these few sheets of note paper, and it was really hard to come up with 25 things to talk about myself. But we're going to start because this is going to take a while. So grab some popcorn, grab a drink. This is going to take a while. Number one, I am terrified of bees. They scare me to pieces. I have a huge phobia of them. If I see one flying around outside, I am not going outside. If one flies near me, I run away. One time, one got trapped in my car, and I refused to get in my car for 2 days because I didn't know if it was still in there or not. So I'm terrified of them. It's a problem. I don't know what to do about it. Like, I know that if I don't bother them, they're not going to bother me, but I'm afraid I'm going to get stung. And I think it comes from the fact that when I was 2, I was playing in my grandmother's yard. She tells me this story all the time. And I was just sitting there minding my own business, playing with a ball or something, I guess, and a bumblebee came and stung me like right here near my eye. And I'm guessing that's where the phobia comes from. I don't know. 2, I have a tree nut allergy, and I actually just found this out this week. On the 4th of July, I ate a handful of trail mix that my manager had sitting on the cash wrap, and 10 minutes later my throat swelled shut. I couldn't breathe, couldn't talk. I was on the verge of passing out. So I went into anaphylactic shock. I had to go to the hospital. They kept me overnight. It's a big ordeal. I can't eat anything with tree nuts. I can't eat anything that's made in a factory where tree nuts are used for fear of cross-contamination. And I have to carry an EpiPen with me at all times. So yeah, it's very frustrating. I'm going to do a video on this, I think, so I can upload it and just talk to you guys about it, because it's a pretty big deal. 3, I have an autistic brother. His name is Chris. He just turned 21. He is the light of my world. He's annoying as hell sometimes, but I'm very protective of him, and I try to give him everything I can. Number 4, and this is really, really embarrassing, but when I was little, like 7 or 8, and the Spice Girls were very popular back then, I wanted to be a Spice Girl. Because I was really blonde back then, not that I'm not blonde now, but like naturally. I would put my hair up in pigtails, and I had those big platform shoes, and I would pretend to be another Spice Girl. I'd pretend to be Baby Spice, and it was quite embarrassing. I'm pretty sure my mother has pictures of me somewhere dressed up like Baby Spice, and I need to get a hold of them and burn them. But yes, I wanted to be the 6th Spice Girl. It was very embarrassing. Number 5, I took a gap year between high school and college. I wasn't entirely sure I wanted to go to college. I'd had a hard time in high school, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit, but I just decided I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I took a year off, and I helped take care of my brother who has autism while my mom went to work, and I realized that if I didn't go to college, I was going to spend the rest of my life taking care of him. So I decided to go to college and get my degree in teaching. So yeah, gap years are very helpful though, like if you don't know what you want to do with your life. I think it gives you time to think about it, get a little real world experience, and give you the motivation to continue your education. Number 6, I am the oldest of 6 kids, so I am turning 23 in a few months. There's Chris, who is 21, Harley, who's turning 20, Jenny, who's turned 17 in May, Casey, who is 13, I think, and then there's Rachel, who just turned 9. There's a lot of us, so it's hard to keep all their ages straight. Number 7, in high school, I dyed my hair pink. Yes, I did. I dyed like the front half of my hair pink. It was supposed to be purple. I didn't take into account the fact that I had blonde hair, so the purple dye turned pink, and it was supposed to be a temporary thing that washed out in like 30 days, but it didn't. I walked around with pink hair for a year until my grandmother took me to the cosmetology college, and they used 3 different industrial strip-ins to get the pink out of my hair, and then they dyed it brunette to cover up everything. So it was an ordeal, and thankfully there are no more pictures of me with pink hair because it was quite embarrassing. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that. Number 8, I have a pet peeve of people talking on their cell phones. It drives me nuts when I'm out to dinner with somebody and they are on their phone just talking, because when I go out to dinner with you, I kind of want your undivided attention and I want to give you my undivided attention. And if you are talking on your phone when we're out to dinner, that's just plain old rude. And then I also hate when people talk on their cell phones when they're driving. I try not to do it. I mean, sometimes I might answer it and say, hey, I'm on the road, I can't talk. But I won't sit there and have a full-blown conversation because it's dangerous. And I hate when people text when they're driving. One of my friends does that all the time, and it scares me to pieces that I'm afraid she's going to get in a wreck. So cell phones just drive me crazy. Number 9, and this is something I don't talk about very often. I mean, I try to be very open about it because I want people to learn from my experience, but when I was in high school, and even a little bit now to this day, I struggled with an anxiety disorder. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life, and things were spinning out of control, and my anxiety just kind of controlled my life. I was afraid to leave the house. I was afraid to leave the house. I was afraid to go to school. I was even homeschooled for a year because my anxiety was so bad. And I don't know what it stemmed from. I don't know. And now, even to this day, I do sometimes get anxiety attacks when I'm like in a big crowd. Like when I was in New York and I went to Otakon in Baltimore last summer, there was like 30,000 people crammed in a hallway, and it was loud, and I was getting shoved, and I went into an anxiety attack then. I couldn't breathe. I started crying. It just happens sometimes. Now my anxiety is not quite so bad. I have a good handle on it. I know what triggers it, but it was just a very hard time in my life, and I try to be very open about it because I know a lot of people struggle with anxiety, but they're afraid to tell people. I've given talks about it at my community college when we have our diversity nights, so I try to get it out there. But it's something I'm actually quite embarrassed about, actually. Number 10, I didn't have my very first boyfriend or even my first kiss until I was 15. I thought this was actually quite abnormal because all of my friends had boyfriends when they were in junior high and were kissing, and it was very awkward because I was the only one who had not been dating anybody before. I hadn't kissed anybody, so I was actually quite jealous about it. And I thought something was wrong with me, but really it's not that big a deal. I know now a lot of people don't date anybody until they're like 16 or 17, so it's really not a big deal, but at the time, you know, high school, for me, it was a big deal. I actually remember my very first kiss. It was actually quite romantic. We were at my house, and we were up in my bedroom, laying on my bed. Nothing funny going on, mind you. We did have we had to keep my bedroom door open, but everybody was downstairs, and the guy I was dating was like, "Can I kiss you?" And I was like, "Sure." And it was awkward, and it was awkward and weird, but that's the story of my first kiss. I remember it like it was yesterday. Number 11, I'm an education/history major. I'm going to teach secondary education, and there's not a specific major for that. You have to go and study what you want to teach. I want to teach history, so I'm a history major and getting my secondary ed certification. And number 12, kind of going along with that, I have switched what level I want to teach 4 times. When I started college, I wanted to teach middle school, and then I decided I was going to teach elementary, and then I decided I was going to teach early childhood preschool level, and then I went back to wanting to teach secondary. And I'm also wanting to get my master's degree in educational leadership and policy making, so that in a few years I will be able to work at the state level, working on curriculum and education laws, that sort of thing. Number 13, when I was in 2nd grade, I suffered a very severe concussion. I had collided with another girl who was my partner. We were supposed to skip backwards holding hands. I don't know what my gym teacher was thinking. I collided with her, and then I fell and hit my head on the floor. And back then, gymnasiums used really bad concrete, like really hard concrete or whatever. Like it was weird, like flooring. And I suffered a really bad concussion. I was unconscious for 3 hours. I lost almost all of my memory. Like, I couldn't remember who my parents were. I couldn't remember my name. Eventually that came back to me, but like I can't remember anything past that day. Like, my memories are gone. Like, I could remember my family, but I couldn't tell you what I ate for breakfast the day before. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what I had for breakfast the morning before. I couldn't tell you my teacher's name from first grade. It was all gone. It was just all gone in an instant, and I've never gotten them back. 14, I did not get my driver's license until I was 18. My mother refused to teach me how to drive. My dad attempted to. But then, I don't know why, but I just never, like, I took driver's ed when I was 16, and I passed it. But for whatever reason, I just didn't go.
Just go to your straw. I'm just looking for my money.
But for whatever reason, I just didn't go and test for my license until I was 18. But I'm a really good driver. I've gotten a lot of practice behind the wheel before then, so I guess it's all good. I mean, it seems like in my family, people don't get their license until they're 18 anyway. I know my mom didn't. My brother is 19 and he still doesn't have it. And I'm teaching my sister how to drive now, and it's really interesting. 15. Last summer, I was training for a half marathon, but I got a stress fracture in my back. It kind of sucks. A year later, I'm still having problems with it. This video makes it seem like I'm very clumsy and get hurt a lot. And that's the truth. I'm very clumsy. I get hurt so much. Number 16, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I bet you didn't know that about me. I have read almost all of the books, probably 15 or 20 times, with the exception of the 6th book, The Half-Blood Prince, because that one was just boring and I hated it. But yeah, I've read them all a good amount of times. I've watched the movies a lot. I used to write Harry Potter fan fiction. Geeky, I know, I'm a huge nerd, guys. I'm a huge nerd. I don't know what to say. I was completely obsessed with it, and I'm still a huge fan to this day. I could probably quote the entire movies, all of them, to you. I'm not joking. Number 17, I was in dance for 5 years. I started at age 4, and I continued until I was 8 or 9. I was really into it. I don't know why I stopped doing it. My mom just stopped paying for it, I think. And to this day, I'm so sad about it, because I know if I would have continued, I would have been really good and part of dance squad and cheerleading in high school. I actually wanted to do gymnastics, but I was already enrolled in tap, jazz, and ballet, and my family was like, I couldn't do gymnastics on top of it, and I kind of wanted to stop doing dance and just do gymnastics, but my family didn't go for it. And I really regret it, because I probably could have done it through college and it would have been really fun. So I regret it to this day. Number 18. I am a really good baker and I love to cook. I make the best from scratch brownies and cupcakes. I can make frosting from scratch. I can make bread from scratch. I'm really good at it. I love doing it. It's kind of like therapy. It's like a family thing. Like, my great-grandmother baked, my mom bakes, I bake. It's just what we do. It's a lot of fun. Takes the stress off, and you know, you get to eat brownie batter. I mean, who doesn't love that? I also really love to cook. Not bragging or anything, but I make some pretty bomb pork chops. Like, I make really good pork chops. Number 19, I'm transferring to Iowa State this year. I just graduated Ellsworth Community College with my AA in education, and I'm transferring to Iowa State this year, and I'm really, really excited for it. Number 20, I hate traveling. I love going to New York and visiting my aunt and uncle and seeing all my friends there, but I hate the process. I hate buying my plane tickets and going through airport security. I hate having to stay in a hotel and the whole eating out junk food process that is when I travel. And when we go down to Tennessee to visit my family, it's a 16-hour car ride. I hate that car ride. I cannot do it. I can't sit still for that long. So I just hate the process of traveling. It's so weird. People love to travel. I hate it. And now with my new tree nut allergy, I have no idea how I'm going to travel, because you're not really, like, you don't know what people have touched. There could be like tree nut. People could have ate like a cashew and touched the plane seat, and then I could have a reaction from that, so I'm terrified to travel now. But no, I hate traveling. I hate it. 21, I do not like to go out on weekends. I mean, once a month, oh, my throat's getting really dry. Once a month, I will get really dressed out and I'll go out and have a drink with a friend or so, something like that. But I like to just, my idea of a perfect weekend night is to stay in my sweats, curled up in bed, reading a good book, or watching something on Netflix, or watching a movie or something like that. That is my ideal Friday night. I don't like to go out and drink and get drunk and party. It's just not who I am. Alright, 22. We're almost done. I am a huge Mountain Dew drinker. I love Mountain Dew. I used to drink a lot of it. Like when I was in high school, I would drink maybe 2 liters of it a day, like the 2 1-liter big bottles like that. And then I really cut down. I used to drink Coke, and I just cannot drink Coca-Cola anymore. It's like sludge in my throat. That sounds really weird. But no, I'm a huge Mountain Dew drinker. I also really like Sprite and Cherry Coke. Cherry Coke's pretty good. But I usually have a can of Mountain Dew every day. It's just how I start my, well, I have it with lunch. I don't start my day with it. 23, my favorite desserts are brownies and cupcakes, especially the cupcakes I could get from Hy-Vee. I can no longer eat those anymore because they contain tree nuts, so I make my own cupcakes and my own brownies. So I love eating them. I love sweets. I am a huge fatty. 24, I switched schools 12 times in my life. My mother moved around a lot when I was little, so there were times where I would transfer in the middle of the year to different schools. Like, for example, like in 3rd grade, I transferred in the middle of the year, and then in 4th grade I transferred in the middle of the year. I transferred in the middle of junior high, and then in high school, I switched high schools 3 times. Wow. But yeah, that's just, I moved around a lot, and it's created this urge in me to like settle down and put down roots, because I've never had a place to like put down roots and call my home. So it's very frustrating for me, and right now I'm still in between because I'm still in college and I'm constantly moving back and forth. So I'm really looking forward to when I graduate and can just find a place and stay there. Alright, 25, the last thing. I'm going to end with my most embarrassing moment. It was when I was in junior high. I was at a pep rally, and I had gotten there really late. Like, I was one of the last ones in the gym, and I was walking up the bleachers to sit down by my friends, and all of a sudden I fell face first and biffed it. And the entire school, and the bang was so loud that everybody in the gymnasium heard, and they all turned and looked at me. 500 kids, it was in front of 500 kids, and it was the most embarrassing thing ever. I kind of got up and laughed it off and just walked up by my friends, but it was embarrassing, and to this day it haunts me. So yeah. Alright, so that was really hard to come up with. I sat here for like an hour trying to come up with 25 things about myself. So I hope you guys learned some new facts about me, and let me know what you guys thought. If you have done this, please do a video response so I can watch it, and I will see you all very soon in the next, and I hopefully will vlog again soon. Bye!